This is Rick Phil in the Wind. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and go on the limb here. See, as you see the title of the live stream, emotions is the reason. Pardon my use of the English language. I should have said emotions are the reason. Now, emotions are the reason. But before we start this, we're gonna do something different. We're gonna do a history segment. We're gonna do a history segment here. Molly Pitcher. Now, her name is not Molly. Her name is actually Marie Ludwig, and I forget the last other names that she has. The Molly Pitcher Highway. Now, the reason why Mary has a highway named after her nickname is because during the Revolutionary War, she would regularly cart water up the battlefield to the men, to soldiers, to the cannoneer, to the cannonmen, to the artillerymen. And when she saw her husband go down, she picked up the ramrod, and she picked up the thing and started manning the cannons herself. Started taking command of the cannons, which got her a accommodation and recognition from General George Washington. Now, that is just part of what a lot of Western women should strive to be. But I don't blame social media. I don't blame feminism. I don't blame anything but how women were taught by their parents, by their mother, and or their father, or lack thereof, mostly lack thereof of a father. Because without all of the brainwashing and all the other BS and having to worry about having another dude come into your house while you're at work and bang your wife. Hats off to the mailmen, the milkmen, and the icemen, and in all forms of delivery, man. Thanks, you hats off to them. But we're gonna get to the thing on how all of this happened. And I don't blame the right to vote. I blame manipulative people who know exactly how to manipulate the emotions of women. Emotions are the reason. Women's emotions are the reason why you got divorced. Now, let me tell you something. It's not about anything but how you make her feel. If you can't use logic is thrown out of, the second you put that ring, logic is thrown out of into the trash can. Your logic means absolutely nothing, because now you have to build a tower that was built up by her father. And if she didn't have a father, you have to build a tower that was built up by multiple men that she's been with. It's called an emotional trust, an emotional security tower. Or it's called the Tower of Emotions. when you have a woman that have had multiple men, you have to compete with an amalgamated tower of those men. You have to compete with an amalgamated tower of those men. What does amalgamated mean? It means put together with multiple different things. Like the Johnny Cash One Piece at a Time, that is an amalgamation car of different years, makes, and models of Cadillacs. And I'm pretty sure it was ugly as sin. The same as that tower that you're dealing with that was built by multiple different men. It is ugly as sin. Like I said, you're gonna have the DMV scram. Your life and emotional DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, or Department of emotional whatever, scrambling to register that on the scale. And the thing is like so many men fall for that trap. And the thing is, you can't compete with that amalgamation, because each one of those men left a piece of themselves inside of her. Every single last one of those men that she slept with or put in the friend zone has left a piece inside of her. You have to compete with people in and outside of the friend zone. You ain't competing with that very well. It ain't gonna work. You also got to compete with her father, if she had a father. You also got to compete with her mother. You know, you got to compete with so much. One person. Now the thing is that the second she has to run back to mother and father, if she has her parents, both of her parents in her life, your marriage is over. Because they can make her feel things. Because they can make her feel things. Because they know her. Within your first year of your marriage, if you decide to go insane and get married, your first year to 2 years should be building that tower. That should be your first priority. The honeymoon phase, that should be your first priority within the first couple of years, is building that tower. In fact, if you were dating a chick, you should have been building a tower in the first daggone place. I mean, I don't know why anybody would want to get married, but hey, I'm just trying to leave this out here. Because if she has to run back to mother and father, back to brother and sister, back to whatever boyfriend or whatever electrician, goddamn anything, the second she has to run back to any one of them, you've already lost. If she has to do it within the 2 years, you lost. Congratulations, you lost. If she has to do that any time in your marriage, you've lost. It's all emotions. It's all emotional. And if you don't solidify that tower within the first couple of years, that's the one thing men are good at, is building. You have to build that. You have to build the things. Like you don't fully know the woman once you get married. You don't know the woman once you date the woman. She ain't gonna tell you. And that's why it was like, that's why I don't have, that's why I'm not married. I know it. I mean, there, there are good women in every corner of the world, but the problem is the world is a freaking spheroid. It's round. Not a single flippant corner in this day and age. The earth ain't flat. There's no way the earth is flat. But again, you basically have to pick the one with the least amount of baggage. You got to pick the one with the least amount of baggage if you really, really want to get married. And prenups ain't worth a darn. I'm gonna tell you something about prenuptial agreements. In a second, under emotional duress, the judge will throw it out, whether she's lying or not. Because the judge, let me tell you a little something here. It's pertaining to the subject. Men's tears bring ridicule. Women's tears bring action. That's how societies work. That's how society is going to continue to work till the death of the last human being. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as vulnerability. Unless it's a fear. Guess what? You better be back on your fur. There's no such thing as emotionally open man. And emotions is why she did it anyway. So, anybody who's married, you better make it so that she doesn't have to run to mommy and daddy. Hey, also, one more thing. Women know how to manipulate each other's emotions. While her frenemies, because that's what they are, frenemies, are manipulating her, she's manipulating him. Women don't like to see other women happy or happier than they are. It's just that simple. And it's like I said, they will manipulate each other emotionally. And they did it because of emotions. It's what it all boils down to. Emotional manipulation on both sides. And they all did it because of emotions. That's pretty much the gist of it. It's the gist of it. Emotions. Remember that, people. Emotional duress is natural, but it is a weakness, as Brandon said. It is natural, but it's a weakness. The reason why I want you to, if you were to have to men, you act on logic. If you were to look in my earlier content, I was angry. That's when I was MGTOW in the wind. I was angry. I was pissed off. Yes, I will admit, I am not afraid to admit that. I am not ashamed to admit it. Because why? Because once you come across a lot of the things, once you understand what's going on, it's maddening. It pisses you off. But as you come to grips with it, you begin to understand it's just human nature. Women operate under emotions, under a constant state of emotions, and their brain does not, and their brain is always active. It's always active. And over time, I calmed down a great deal. I calmed down. I became more level-headed, calm. I don't use profanity. I rarely use epithets. There are people in my family that can count on one hand the amount of times that I use epithets. There are people that whenever they hear an epithet come out of my mouth, they're shocked. There's people that go their entire lives, 20 years around me, and have never heard me use the N-word. Because I only use that word when it's absolutely warranted. That's my principles. And it's only warranted for somebody who deserves it. And that's another thing to becoming a man. You have to come up with your own principles. You don't have to tell them every bit of your principles. You just got to understand because each man knows what their principles are, what other men's principles are. It's like they can feel it, not as an emotional thing, but as a respect thing. But women operate on an emotion. And it's not going to change. Now, are they going to, can they be aware of it? Yes, they can be fully aware of it. Some of them actually are aware of it when they do what they do. Whether you like to admit it or not, some of them are actually fully aware of it when they do what they do. Those are the scariest, those are the most dangerous ones. The ones that do it anyway and know it. Those are the most dangerous ones. But the ones who try to control it, you gotta give them props. But I cannot, like I see in this world of cameras and internet and social media, where women can vie for validation and attention and all this other heavy horse waggle, there is no logical reason that I, in my right mind, should even think about being anywhere near the concept of governmental marriage. Or marriage in general. Because they always want to take the government always wants to get their hands in the pockets, and you know how they do it? By using the emotions of women. The milkman, the the Iceman, the Maytag repairman. You see a pattern here. The snake that convinced Eve to bite off a piece of the apple. The mailman, the UPS delivery man, the FedEx delivery man. Your home is under attack, whether you like it or not. Your home is under constant attack when you bring a woman into your life, because those men know how to use the emotions to get what they want. Now, you can sit here and go ahead and get married if you want, but I'm gonna tell you this much: I won't be able to enjoy my electric guitar and my scantily the picture shifting outfits of my anime waifus, pictures that are sitting at the foot of my bed. Just saying. And Brandon Trueblood, I'll send you a picture of them. This is Red Pill No Win. Thanks for the people that came in. Thanks for the people that stuck around. Thanks for the person that gave me a like. Signing off.